All right, so today I'm here with Will. So Will, introduce yourself to the people.
Oh, my name is Will, and I am a personal trainer based in London, central London, and I have been a PT for over 6 years now. Became a PT right after uni, after studying sports science in university. Yeah.
That's nice. So I know you have a little bit of background in boxing. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I picked up boxing after football because after I broke my ankle playing, so I thought, what other sport can I take part in that pushes me as hard, and also get frustration out because I was studying in uni. So I picked up boxing. So then I started going to Miguel's Boxing Club and the Linz Boxing Club. And then from there, that's where it started. And I got to meet many professional athletes there. So you have the likes of Dillian White. I got to meet him a few times, and I got to see him train, and I got to train with him. And
So did you get a little bit of sparring in?
Not really.
No,
Dillian's a heavyweight. I might look heavy now, but I wasn't this big back then.
What was you, if you don't mind me asking, back then?
Back then, I was about 78 kilos.
70? Oh, okay.
78 kilos.
So what's that, around middle?
Yeah, so that was around middleweight, yeah. But then I got to meet the likes of Isaac Chamberlain back then. I met quite a few guys that gave me inspiration, and then just watching them train, you know, gives you that massive inspiration.
So how long ago was that?
I was about 8-9 years ago.
8-9 years, and you was a middleweight back then.
Yeah.
Because looking at you now, that's like completely different.
I know.
Like I wouldn't even think.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine you being skinny.
Yeah, but yeah, that's over the years of dedication. So after that, then I started uni. Then I had a free gym membership, and my passion for training started actually in college, in second year in college, because my first year in college we did a bench press test with everyone. And
is that like a school thing?
Yeah, it
like
was
a uni
in
thing?
college. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then I remember some of my friends, they could bench 60 kilos.
Okay.
And I've always thought I was strong.
Is that 1 rep max or?
Yeah,
for a couple
1 rep
of
max.
sets?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've always thought I was strong, but then then reality hit. I couldn't bench 60 kilos, and then after that summer, which was the first year in college, and I said, you know, no, I can't. This can't be. So I went to Argos, and then I bought some dumbbells, and then I bought some plastic weights, and then that summer, 6 weeks. I gained about 10 kilo of muscle. Basically, all I did was I would do 100 press-ups every night, and then I would go to the park before I do my 100 press-ups. I would do 100 pull-ups, 100 dips, go home, do 100 press-ups, and then go to bed. So, and then I will have
So 100, 100, 100.
100, and I did that for 6 to 8 weeks, and I would eat a tuna sandwich after my training session. So I would have tuna can, make a sandwich, eat that, go to bed, and then I would wake up in the morning and I would have eggs, because I knew, you know, one of the main things you had to get in was protein. So that's how my journey started, and then from there, and then I saw improvements during that summer, and then I came back to college, and then I could bench 220 pounds, which is
in the same summer.
in the same summer, and
220
that's
pounds.
100 kilos.
Yeah.
And then that's when the confidence grew, and then people started giving me compliments, and then people started seeing the change in me. My focus went massive. You know, I became more focused in things that I was doing. You know, yeah, and then just grew.
So within 6 weeks of just doing, is that your own program, or is that something you saw online? The 100, 100, 100?
It was my own program I devised, because I've always had the interest in trainings, because I studied sports science in school, sports science in college, and then sports science in university. So I've always knew about athletic training, what to do.
Okay.
But for building size, I just did press-ups, dips, and pull-ups. And I just did as many reps as I can. But one thing I would actually say was that I watched a film called The Longest Yard.
Wow. Okay. Wait, this is the one Adam Sandler? Yeah, I love that film,
Longest Yard. And you get the advice from there is in prison, they do high reps, high repetition.
Okay.
So high repetition on everything. So it's not just about coming in the gym and doing 3 pull-ups for 3 sets of 10 pull-ups. No, they're talking about doing 500 pull-ups in one session. That way you actually cause trauma to the muscle. And then so I created that whole scenario of called prison workouts. And then to be honest, I actually do those workouts with my clients as well, where my male clients, where I would get them and I'll put them on. So today we're doing something called a prison workout, where you do 100 press-ups, 100 pull-ups, 100 dips, 100 this, and then at the end of the session, they're just pumped
As much as they can.
as much
right?
as they can. And
It, how does that quickly? How does that separate from like AMRAP?
it's basically the same, but it's not the whole thing is not devised as an AMRAP. You basically do as much as you can, take a rest, do as much as you can, take a rest, but it's not timed.
Okay.
Yeah, so an AMRAP is more timed.
So this isn't continuous.
Yeah, this is
okay.
yeah. So yeah, that's how I started, and then from there, then I slowly moved into weights. Yeah, so it's good.
And that's when you're weight training and more you move towards PTing.
Yeah, and then slowly after that, then I started training one or two friends in college. They would come and train with me, so we do weights, and then from there, and then the passion. I've always wanted to be a coach,
Okay.
because my favorite athlete is Michael Jordan. So I've always had that whole thing of like, if I didn't become an athlete,
Basketball.
if
So from football to boxing, and then your favorite athlete is Jordan.
yeah, Michael Jordan is my favorite athlete, and it's Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, and Roger Federer.
Roger Federer.
Those are my three.
That's quite a
All time.
vast difference,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Because I like the mentality of you do whatever you can to win,
Okay.
and you train your ass off to make the competition easy. So and that whole mental aspect of like, not giving up, just fighting through tough times. Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying, how did the mentality or the inspiration from Michael Jordan help you to become a better coach?
I would say one thing that I like most from him was he kept everybody accountable. And I'm a person who likes to keep people accountable, and I keep myself accountable as well. And another thing is not about winning one, it's about staying at the top, how you stay at the top. And I've always been interested in athletes that stay at the top. Not just, you got to the top and then you just fell off. For
Okay.
me, you're a champion, but you're not really a champion. You're not going to be remembered. The athletes that are remembered are the ones that, get to the top and stay up there.
Yeah.
So Jordan stayed up there, he became the greatest. Federer stayed up there, he became the greatest. And Serena Williams stayed up there, they became the greatest. Usain Bolt went up there, stayed up there, greatest. And Michael Phelps went up there, he stayed up there. And then, they didn't just do that whole spike of like up and down, up and down, up and down, win one year, lose the one year. They won every single year. And that tells you that they went in there, put the work in, and every year in and out, yeah.
And I think that is actually a harder thing to do than to just attain the top,
Yeah.
right? Because when you think about it, everyone has that fire at the beginning.
Yeah,
But can you keep that going once the fire is gone? Once you have everything that you've worked for, right?
yeah, it's true.
So how do you think, like especially with your clients,
Yeah,
once they've attained, let's say they want to lose this amount of weight, and
Yeah.
they've achieved that with
Yeah.
you, right? How can you keep them going in that sense, like the athletes? How
Yeah.
can you keep them motivated, or how do you do that?
I think when it comes to clients, two things. So you always try to start new goals with them. So whether if the goal was to lose weight and then they lose 10 kilos, 25 kilos, is one thing you can go, how about we set you up to run a 10K? How about after 10K, how about we set you up to run a half marathon? And then after that, how about we set you up to do a fitness competition? How
Okay.
about we set you up to do, something, a full marathon? So it's setting new goals. And the other ways I do it is, how about maintaining it? Not just lose the weight and then put it back on. How about
Yeah.
making it a lifestyle where you come to the gym 3 times a week, you're regular in the gym, and you're putting in the work. You start talking to clients about the mental health aspect of it. the confidence aspect of it, and your productivity aspect of it. You know, productivity goes up at work. You know, and I've seen clients, you know, start training, and next thing you know, they just bam, bam, bam at work. Productivity goes up, promotion, earning a lot more money. Next thing you know, confidence goes up, and then they have the courage to ask for stuff at work. If they don't get it, they move on. They will find other places that they will be treated, you know, equally and nice. So it's yeah.
So would you say like the physical aspect of it really is just a taster to like success, and then everything that is built like discipline,
Yeah.
or the mental aspect or the emotional aspect,
Yeah.
like you said, the mental health,
Yeah.
and how that's improved is like the main thing?
I
would
would
you
say, yeah, that's the main thing.
So that's the thing that
main
like keeps them going,
Yeah.
like beyond once
Beyond.
they've achieved the physical aspect of it.
And it's one of those things that they always say, you become more confident when you keep the promises you make to yourself.
Okay.
So if you
I like that one.
if
Say
you
that
make-
again?
Yeah, so you become more confident when you keep the promises you've made to yourself. If you say, I'm going to lose 10 kilos, and you actually do it, you become more confident. Now, people will ask you questions, how you've done it. And now you can explain, or you can say, this is what I've done, you know, you can go and ask my PT. But people that wouldn't speak to you would speak to you. And you would walk around in a room with your chest up, more confident, and you speak confidently. You know, they always say is, you know, you know, people, fitness is a thing where, you know, you do it because you love it, but at the same time, you do it because of the other aspects it gives you, which is being able to stand with other people and say, you know, I'm physically, not only physically, mentally, but I can compete with you.
compete.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel, because confidence, they say confidence is ability, right?
Yeah.
You're confident once you're able to do certain things.
Yeah.
And would you say that that is what, like, you know, the fitness kind of gives you, or trying to achieve something, especially once you've conquered yourself physically?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what fitness gives you. You know, you get most people. You know, you work and you do the work, you climb the corporate ladder, and you start earning loads of money. But one thing you gave up was your health.
Yeah.
And then you get to a certain point in your life, and you go, you know what? I need to get that back. That's if time has long passed. But once you conquer that fitness, once you get back into it and start training, you figure out that, you know what, I still have a lot more energy, or the fire builds up again to move forward again at your work, or to be more productive. Because you get to a point where you lose that fire. Sometimes you need something different to light that fire again.
Yeah.
So I think fitness is a great way to get it back up again. Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to this, there's this old adage, like a saying, like a proverb, right? And it says that, like, it is a true shame. I'm just paraphrasing,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's saying that it's a true shame for a man, or so for someone,
Yeah.
to not fully, to live a life to not fully know their physical capabilities.
Oh, I truly believe in
Would
that.
you believe that?
I truly believe in that. It's hard to explain. You know, you can tell, it's really hard to explain. When you box, there's a difference between being strong and being able to punch hard. And there's another difference of being mentally to be able to connect every single muscle fiber in your body and connect it into a punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being able, they both have two differences. And then so someone like Tyson, he grew up learning how to connect every single fiber in his body, and connect his whole energy into a punch. And that's why opponents was afraid of him. You know, as a human, I feel like being able to learn that skill to take you far. And not only takes you far, it makes you more confident, because as a person, if you know that you can defend yourself and you can inflict damage, you become more calmer.
Yeah.
You become a lot more calmer. You learn how to control your emotions, because you don't allow things to rile you up. you only allow things to rile you up at the point where is life and death.
Yeah.
But if day-to-day stuff wouldn't rile you up, you figure out how to solve it before it gets, or you don't react in a massive emotional way. And so people always ask me, why are you always calm? But I was like, because I know everything will always be okay. You just
Yeah.
have to figure out how to solve it. So there's no point to like stress and da 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 da. Just be calm. You figure out a way. You might not figure it out within the first hour, but you will figure it out 10 hours later. Yeah. So,
And that's what training does, right?
yeah.
Because would you say you'll be this calm if, let's say, God forbid, you've been injured or you haven't been able to go to the gym or train as much? Would you say you would still keep that mental resilience?
I think I will still keep that mental resilience, but at the same time, if you don't train it, which is, it will go away.
Yeah.
So you will keep it for as long as you can maintain it, but then it will go away. So training does help you maintain that, because with training you learn to be patient.
Yeah.
And we live in a world now where patience is probably the last thing people,
Oh, yeah.
have. And training teaches you to be patient, because you're not going to get strong overnight. You can just,
Exactly.
you can start, you're not going to see yourself build 20 kilos or 10 kilos of muscle overnight. It might take you 5 years, but those 5 years investment that you put in, might give you 10 years of longevity in your life. So yeah.
Would you say it's a good investment?
Oh, it's a massive, yeah. It's best investment you can ever make.
Could you just explain a little bit more, like, into the investment that, because a lot of people think that, like, certain amount of money is too much for personal training, but they get £500 Gucci bag, or designing things, this and that will fade away, or most people just use it a couple of times and then it goes away, or like a night out or a holiday for 2 weeks, right? So could
Yeah.
you explain a little bit more what you get out from like personal training and the actual benefits, and then like the longer
Yeah.
run in terms of the investment of it?
I would say, personal training can be very expensive, yeah, but at the same time, it's probably one of the best things you can do for yourself. And I do understand why people sometimes don't want to spend the money, because you don't want to give money to somebody who doesn't give you the value back, which in our industry, you get people that take the job very seriously, which their thing is to provide value and help clients change. And you get some people that do our job just for the fun of it, because they like working out, or because they like being in a gym environment, because they didn't want to work in the corporate industry no more, but they don't actually like being around people.
Okay.
Or they don't actually like coaching people. But for me personally, I love coaching people. I love being around people. I love the whole aspect of fitness and helping people. So I would say personal training is probably the best investment you can make. I've trained people, I've helped people lose lots of weight. I've helped people change their lifestyle. I've helped people become more confident in themselves. I've helped people, run marathon, half marathon. These are goals that you probably wouldn't get, by yourself. Like I always say, everybody needs a mentor.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a mentor. It's just if you're willing to actually pay or go and ask for it. And once you have a mentor, the right mentor to push you in whatever area that you want to go in, you will succeed and you will excel.
Yeah.
So I would say personal training is probably one of the best investments you can make if you get the right coach. The key there is the right coach.
Yeah.
If you get the right coach, you will see a massive, massive difference. Massive difference in your body, in your confidence, in your sleep, in your social life. Yeah, you might spend more time in the gym, but you meet different types of people. You meet people that are interested in what you're interested now. And you will respect. And that's one thing clients always tell me, is that once they start taking their health seriously, start training, one thing they do notice is that they gain more respect from people. Not respect in a way that I
From
respect
people or for people? Did you
no,
say?
from their
Oh,
colleagues
okay.
and from colleagues, from friends, because you have the courage and you have the will to do things that they can't do. Not they can't, not that they can't do it,
Unwilling.
but yeah, it's just they don't have that aspiration to go
Yeah.
and do it. But you have the aspiration to go out there and do it. So is probably one of the best investments you can make if you get the right coach.
The right one.
Yeah.
And the right one will obviously, because I look at personal trainers as like levels of commitments, right? So how great you are as a personal trainer, so
Yeah.
think about it from 1 to like 10.
Yeah.
It's like the commitment they put into you. So
Yeah.
a good, like a relatively good personal trainer will, will get you in good shape.
Yeah.
But a great personal trainer will give you a great life.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I
And
would
then
say
because
so.
they will, like you said, they will start fixing your sleeping pattern. They'll
Yeah.
start fixing your mental health, eating
Yeah.
disorders,
Yeah.
and many different things that comes just above or beyond just
Yeah.
like the physical like element of it.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you say that like that's what you offer
Yeah, that's what I offer, at the
and
same
what you've actually like attained, right?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, and that's what the whole aspect of personal training is. Not just about me teaching you how to do a deadlift or how to do squats, how to do, bench press, how to do. Yeah, that's the whole part of it. But it goes deeper than that. You have the personal, which is 1st, which is you have to build a one-to-one relationship, and that's the coaching part. And then you have the training, which is the second part, which is I help you get stronger, I help you learn how to do exercises by yourself with the proper technique and all the other stuff. But the personal always comes first. And I think that's where a lot of personal trainers don't concentrate on that, which is the personal part. They always say a coach, when you listen to great athletes, they'll always say, the coach that they had was like a father figure to them.
Yeah.
And that's because the coach, for you to coach people to become great or coach people to, to excel, you have to build that personal relationship with them. You have to know their do and don'ts and how to motivate them, how not to, how to get them riled up, how not to, how to challenge them physically and mentally. So is building that personal connection will help you,
Tremendously.
yeah, players or athletes or individuals excel.
So going back to that point, what do you think is the key component to a great PT, right? So, or like a great coach. So if you had, if you saw yourself or you had tips back,
Yeah.
so if you could go back 10 years time, right?
Yeah.
8 years time when you were
Yeah.
just starting out, and you could give yourself tips on like how to coach others and how to help others, right?
Yeah.
Because that's your goal and that's what you want.
Yeah.
What could you tell yourself back then?
I would say, what could I tell myself back then? I would say is a lot of patience.
Patience.
Patience. Patience, you have to have a lot of patience, which I'll probably say I have in abundance. But at the same time, I was quite lucky to have mentors when I was growing, coming up in the industry. One of the guys that I watched a lot was Peak Conditioning, Ayo. Because I worked for Fitness First for about 4 years while I was studying in university. And I started with work experience. So I went in and asked them, can I do work experience? And I only did that because I wanted a free gym membership. And then they
Like
gave,
we all do,
yeah.
though, right?
So, and then the guy called Manny, who was the fitness manager at Fitness First, he gave me a thing. He told me to come in and just tidy up the gym. And I got to train there for free. And then from there, I got hired. But while I was working there, I was able to watch a guy called Ayo. And then I saw the connection that he had with his clients and the creativity that he had with his training. And not only him, I watched other PTs as well. And I kind of started picking out things, what makes a great PT, whether if it's you have to be known or whether if you have to have charisma or whether you have to be famous within that arena, within the area, or whether, the training part or the connection part, I learned a lot just that 4 years of doing that work experience that I was able to transfer over when I became a full-time PT, which then, when I became, it took off. And but
Is that
one
because you like learned and like adapted
Yeah.
from like the different types of PTs
Yeah.
that you was exposed to in
yeah,
the
I was
environment?
exposed to. And while I was doing that, I was learning because I was at uni studying sports science. I was learning about the whole scientific part about training.
Okay.
So it's I would say one thing is the confidence. It took me a while to build up. The first year, I had the confidence to provide value, but the confidence to interact with different types of people was wasn't as high because I didn't come from a background where I was exposed to different types of people.
Okay.
So I had to build that confidence up to be able to, you know, I was, being 19 or 20, I was 19, 20, being able to train somebody who's 50.
So is that when you started?
Yeah, I started
around
personal
19.
training when I was 20.
Oh, 20.
And being that age and being able to have a conversation with someone who's 50, a meaningful conversation. So that played a part in confidence,
Okay.
and then you have to kind of build it up over time. Yeah.
Okay, so you've named two things. So from what I got from that is the main two components is patience
Yeah.
and confidence.
Confidence, yeah.
One last thing, would you add like another thing to
I would
like
say creativity.
creativity? So
Yeah.
patience, confidence, and creativity.
Creativity, and especially if you want to be a PT and you're not creative, it will be quite tough.
Because a lot of it, really, if you want to be a PT, right, and if you're not creative, you can just get on the internet, right?
Yeah, you can just get on the internet. And most importantly, if you're going to be a full-time PT, if you're not creative, then you probably want to have your own gym. But if you're going to work in a private gym where they have 2,000 members, 3,000 members, most of the time the equipment that you want to use is busy.
Taking, yeah.
And so you have to be creative on the spot. And that's where I always say is loving what you do and you want it to become a coach because you love it and you spent time learning. Some people, because they go by a program that they've set, if the equipment is not free, they're lost. They don't know what to do. And that's where the creativity comes in. And I see a lot in personal trainers where it's like they go by a program. Yeah, you have a program that you go by, but you should be able to think on the spot and do something different. Yeah, where some people get stuck and then they feel they get anxious, they feel like they can't do the job, and then blah, 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 blah. They don't train clients at peak times. And I've seen it a few times, quite a lot. Yeah, so it's a slow process, yeah.
And so, like, being able to adapt as well, right?
Yeah, being able to adapt. Yeah, that's it.
Is like a key component to
Yeah,
that as well.
components. And then the other thing I would actually say is listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So could you delve a little bit more into that, like listening to the needs, listening to their body?
Yeah,
Or
listening to clients' needs, and that's one thing a lot of PTs lack. Most PTs don't listen to what don't have great listening skills.
kind of like a one-way
Yeah,
system,
one-way
right?
system. And I think if you're going to be a PT, you're basically a therapist. No, you're not a therapist, but part of it is to listen to what the client wants, or listen to
Their personal life.
not personal life, but personal goals, what they're doing, and things they want to improve, and remembering conversations that you've had with the client and following up on conversations. And so it's listening is a massive, massive part of it.
That's a part.
Yeah, it's a massive part of it, and you get some people just don't like that, because if you like talking about yourself, you're not going to listen to someone, right? So it's so listening is a big part of it.
So, all right. Well, that was great. Let's just wrap this up. So that would be, you would say, confidence.
Yes.
Well, actually, first of all, patience, confidence, creativity. Let's say adaptability and listening.
Yeah.
So that's the top 5. So if you want to be a PT, or like if you have advice for younger guys or younger PTs, or people that just want to get into the fitness or coaching side of the fitness industry, that's the top 5, right?
Yeah, that's the top 5. And don't become a PT because you like working out.
Okay.
it won't work. You probably won't last in the game because it's long hours. You have to spend tons of time with people, and you're doing 12 hours a day. Is not is a scam when they tell you you do 5 hours. You wake up at 9, you come to the gym at 10, do 4 hours, charge 90, £100, and then you go home. No, that's not the case. Unless if you've got a sugar daddy or sugar mommy who's sponsoring your lifestyle. But yeah, that's not the case. It is long hours, and you have to enjoy being around people. If you don't enjoy being around people, then you shouldn't consider personal training. Yeah.
All right, that's great,
Yeah.
Will, man.
Cool.
It was good talking to you.
Yeah.
One last thing.
Yeah.
Just give your location, like where you train people.
Well,
just a little bit of details about that.
I'm based in central London, so around Tower Bridge, London Bridge area. So if you were looking for personal training or coaching, just you can always message me on Instagram or on my website, and I'm happy to help if I have the space. I don't really do online training because I like to train people face to face, even if it's just training for 3 months, where I get you started, we get you on a program, and then we move you forward, because I like to know who I'm working with. For me, trying to train a mass load of people is not, it doesn't really entice me, trying to train a mass load of people. I like to build a personal connection with people. And whether if it's for 3 months and then you go off and do the whole thing yourself, and then we check in time to time, yeah, that's great.
All right, thank you guys.
Yep.
Well, it was nice talking to you, Will.
Yep.
Thank you.